Is it fair that you don't have anything on your end? No, it's not fair. So when this lady came in and was taking notes and had notes that she had already taken and brought them to the interview, I said, she is about her business. So I know personally, taking notes and bringing notes to your job interview is a wow factor. So today we're going to be talking about how to wow the hiring managers every time, or the people you're interviewing with, or whoever it may be, but how to wow them on your job interview, how to make that good impression. That's what we're talking about on today. First things first, you're going to have to know the history or the background of the company. This is a no-brainer. This is something that you want to always do. As I always say, in today's society, we have Google. There's really no excuse as to why you shouldn't know a little bit about the company that you're interviewing for. Nobody's asking you to write a research paper. Nobody's asking you to do a dissertation on it. But you do need to know some of the latest things that are going on with the company. You need to know what kind of products they sell. You need to know what kind of clients they serve. You need to know what their industry is. You need to be able to make some type of conversation during your job interview about the background research that you've done. That's how you wow and impress the hiring managers. Another way to impress the hiring managers is to make sure you look them up on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has grown in popularity these days. It's been around for quite some time, but it's really a social networking platform now. People will be able to see if you looked at their profile. So I would suggest you to, if you really just don't want anybody to know you're looking, then just look on private. Or if you look underneath your own account, then of course they're going to see that you've looked at them, which is fine too. But the point is, you need to be able to go to their LinkedIn account, look to see where they've worked at, what type of social presence do they have. Just do your due diligence and look into who is interviewing you. One of the reasons why you want to do that is you never know what connection you and that hiring manager may have. You might have both went to the same school. You might be both interested in the same hobbies. You never know. And if you come across something that resonates with you, then you can intertwine that during your interview. The third way to wow the hiring managers is during the last part of the interview when you're asking questions. I always say, throw a personal question in there. Ask them, what is it that keeps you at this company? Or ask them, what is the most challenging part of your day? Or even ask them, where do you see yourself in 5 years? But, if you're going to ask them that type of question, be sure to preface it with, I know this might seem odd, or I know this is unorthodox, but just curious to know, where do you see yourself growing within this company? Or where do you see yourself within the future of this company? You've been here X amount of years, as you stated earlier. Go back into what you guys talked about earlier and pull from that, okay? That is a question that you got to know how to finagle that, okay? The fourth way to set yourself apart, impress, and wow the hiring manager is to write a compelling cover letter. I know people are sick to death of hearing about cover letters, but I promise you, the cover letter is not for that recruiter. The cover letter might not even be for that first person that's going to read it or that's going to interview you, but the cover letter, you never know who it's going to reach. I had an experience where I had an interview. It was the third round of interviews, and I had the vice president of that department sitting right next to me, interviewing me for the panel interview. They had my cover letter sitting right in front of them during that interview, and they specifically leaned over to me and said, I loved your cover letter. I love when you talked about this, that, and the third. And I was like, okay. So I say that to say, always write a compelling cover letter, because you never know who it's going to reach. You never know who it's going to touch. You never know what person is going to resonate with that. The fifth way to wow your hiring manager, be sure you are conversational throughout the interview. So this is where you have to relax. You're going to have to loosen up a bit and realize that this is a two-way street. You're interviewing them. They're interviewing you. you need to relax. You need to realize that I'm just having a conversation here. You know, if you think that in your head, it's going to put you a little bit more at ease, and you should be able to kind of be able to have that conversation. And it's not like you're just shooting off answers to each question, like you're being interrogated. But yeah, you make it a conversation. When they're talking, you can always say, hey, you know what? I know what you're talking about there. Or like you said earlier, and kind of just feel from it. There's a way to go about making it a conversation. And that's how you want it to be. If your interview turns into a conversation, that lets you know it's going pretty good. So next, this is a really good way to wow and impress the hiring managers. And this might be something that is, I don't know, you might have to take some time putting this together, but either it's a portfolio, some type of presentation, or something that shows your accomplishments, something that's outside the box, outside of just your resume, explaining it, like a presentation or a portfolio that you can submit whenever you submit your interest, because a lot of times they allow you to attach more than one attachment to your job application. But then again, you can also add it whenever you get an interview. Once your interview is scheduled, you can politely send them an email saying, I appreciate you taking the time to interview me on this, that, and the third day. I look forward to it. But in the meantime, I wanted to send you this portfolio of my work, or I wanted to send you a presentation that goes over some of the key things that I've accomplished over X amount of years. That is something that'll really wow them. The seventh way you're going to impress and wow the hiring managers is, again, at the end of the interview. But you're going to ask thoughtful questions. You're not going to just ask, any kind of questions. You're going to ask thoughtful questions, and these questions are going to be something that you thought out ahead of time. An example of one of those questions could be, what are some of the most challenging pieces of this position? Or you can say, I noticed this line or this task in a job description. Can you elaborate on what this means, or can you elaborate on what this would look like? So that's just going back to the job description, letting them know that you really dug in deep there. The next thing that you want to do throughout your interview to make sure you wow and impress the hiring managers is take notes. I remember when I was on my first interview as a recruiter with the individual that came in taking notes, I was like, she about her business, because oftentimes we expect you to be polished and, sit there and we have all of our notes. As the recruiter, I have all my notes at the table. I have your resume. I have even my questions I'm going to be asking you. But is it fair that you don't have anything on your end? No, it's not fair. So when this lady came in and was taking notes and had notes that she had already taken and brought them to the interview, I said, she is about her business. So I know personally, taking notes and bringing notes to your job interview is a wow factor. Last but not least, the number one thing you can do to impress the hiring managers, to wow the team, is smile. I know it seems like smile. No, I'm telling you, the energy is what you're going for. Smile. Just, keep your vibes high, keep it positive. It's going to trickle off onto other people for sure. So make sure you keep that top of mind too, instead of just sitting there kind of like blank or letting your nerves get the best of you. So hopefully that helps you on today. But those are the things that will wow and impress your hiring managers. Good luck. Subscribe for more.